Welcome to Creative Mornings. Our speaker today couldn't be more perfect to speak on this theme. Nifa works as a community activist in restorative justice with the Ella Baker Center. As many of you know, or maybe you don't know and will learn today, there's mounting pressure to investigate the Alameda County Sheriff's Department. While the people that they are imprisoning have been on the decline for the last decade, their budget, should not surprise you, has been increasing, doubling and tripling. We're not talking like a few $1 million. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. And the question is why? Where is this money going to? So we have a lot of questions, and we thought it would be great to have Nifa up here to answer those questions. So everyone, please give a warm Oakland welcome to Nifa.
Thank you. Thank you guys for being out here today, this morning. Whew. I live in Pittsburgh now. I'm from Richmond, but I recently moved to Pittsburgh. And that travel was crazy. So I came from Pittsburgh this morning, and I knew I had to make it. But I'm really grateful to be here in this space, and grateful that you guys are here in this space with me. I like to start with a little icebreaker, something to get you guys thinking or just connecting with folks in the space. So for a second, if you can think about something that you're grateful for. With so many traumas that's happening in our community, so many fires, so much stuff that's happening, what is something that you're grateful for? And you can turn to a neighbor and say that to that person. And if you want to share, you can. But just for a second, just think about something that you've been grateful for with all the things that's happening in our community so far. Anybody want to share some gratitude? Attitude of gratitude? Yeah.
I'm grateful that I got paid today.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm able to pay my bills.
I
know not everybody gets a paycheck and can't afford things, and I'm grateful for that.
I am grateful for due process, which we've seen over this last week, finally start to move in the right direction.
I'm grateful for the plants outside of my house, because I've been feeling like they've been giving me a lot of oxygen lately.
I like that. I love that. I just recently got me some plants. I'm becoming like a little plant mom. I'm excited too. Wow.
I'm really grateful for my fiance's heart. It's been kind of a challenging year, and I've been unemployed for a year, and his warmth is just a really great landing place when I'm still so in flux.
Thank y'all. I really appreciate that. I needed some attitude of gratitude today. It's been so many things happening in my life, in my community, just so much trauma. But through the trauma, I'm constantly reminded that I'm here and my mission is greater than me. I do this for my ancestors. I do this for my people. So regardless of traumas that I'm experiencing in my daily life, I have to keep fighting and keep going. I'm Nifa Akousa from the Ella Baker Center, organizer and advocate. I'm also a creator and facilitator of holding space. I believe that coming together as a community is vital for our survival. And at the Ella Baker Center, I run a lot of campaigns, do a lot of policy work, but through my work, I managed to bring healing in the aspect of our work. When I think about this topic, loss, it just makes me think about so many things that I lost, but things that I've gained. When I think about when I joined the Ella Baker Center, or even just getting involved with community, it spiraled for me noticing that I've been having a lot of people in my community, get killed in the streets. And I wanted to hold space for people in my community who've felt these traumas. So I was saying what if we had a space, for people who are dealing with trauma, Black people who are dealing with trauma. And how can we get these folks in a space where we can talk to each other, help each other cope, and then build a community and family? It first started from my cousin. I had a lot of friends and families get killed. My first time having somebody get killed when I was in 8th grade, my friend Lamar got killed in our community. And I just noticed that it was a constant trauma in that aspect. But I noticed that at the time when I was thinking about creating this healing circle, this healing space, it was a lot of women in my family and friends who were dealing with postpartum depression. And being that I'm not a mother and I'm around these women, I'm like, wow, well, maybe I need to get them in a room. Maybe I need to have them help each other talk this out and provide a space for them to help each other cope. So the first space that I created was in my hood, in the manor, in Richmond, and the space was just for my friends to come. And I had it was basically saying like, healing postpartum depression. And us coming together. So these women, friends, families came, and the group just blew my mind. I'm not an expert or anything. Like my goal was to hold the space, and that's what I did. So these mothers, they shared their experiences, what it is to have a child, what it is to, go through the postpartum depression and how they are coping and how other mothers can help each other cope. So those spaces helped me continue to grow and grow. And initially, from that space, my cousin, she was one of the mothers that was in the space. And a lot of trauma has been happening in our families. And with the help from my cousin and BJ, who we created this project called Be Imaginative, we started having spaces for mothers who lost their sons to gun violence. So realizing how many people, how many mothers, how many families are losing their sons and daughters to gun violence, we knew that we needed to create a space for these families. So BJ and my cousin Aisha and I and our group, Soul Development, together, we started hosting these retreats. We started hosting these spaces for mothers and families to come, to build sistership, to know each other, and to help each other cope with the pains and traumas. This space also helped us create an exhibit to showcase the art that we created in this retreat, to showcase the mother's stories, their narratives as to what happened to their child. The media would tell you, oh, this guy was gunned down, but the mother would say, no, my son was executed and murdered. So it's changing the narrative around how we see our people and how we are experiencing our stories. So through this work and through the work of holding space, I connected with the Ella Baker Center because I was asked to speak on a panel, which is really like random. And I spoke on this panel and I was talking about safety in my community and how I'm creating those avenues for safety in my community and what safety means. And when I got connected with the Ella Baker Center, I started realizing like, wow, this is a space I needed to be. I really need to know more about the policy side. I really need to know more about the incarcerations that's happening inside these jails. I really need to know more about how we are holding and building power in our communities. So joining the Ella Baker Center was a space that I needed to be. So when I think about the term loss, I think about people that's being lost in our communities, someone being lost to a family, and lost to a system that wants to dehumanize and kill us. This narrative is a common burden that a lot of families are experiencing on the daily. The correlation between a white parent, a white family, dealing with the missing loss of a child is the same feeling that Black families get every day when our child, our family, our loved ones are being incarcerated in the system. That same trauma, we feel the pain of the missing. When somebody is missing in your community, you know the energy shifts. You feel it deep. When someone is missing from a community, and when your loved one is missing from a community, your breathing is different. Your thought process is different. You're praying more and more than you can count. I remember experiencing this many times, but a story I shared just happened a few months ago. I had just came from a conference in Sacramento. I was speaking at this panel in a conference, and this conference was about crime survivors. And I had asked to speak because I was fighting to tell my story, my narrative about being a crime survivor, about losing people in my community, and how I'm creating avenues and change for people in my home and family. The day I get back from this conference, the night, it was amazing. My little brother, to throw a little back story, my little brother joined me in this conference, and he prior to the year before this conference, had been shot in the head. He survived. And when I was at this conference the year before, I was telling the people about my brother and how he's fighting for his life, but I still came to this conference. And this year, I had brought him to this conference. And I said, my brother Marzari is in the audience. Marzari, can you stand up? People went crazy because they remember praying for this baby. They remember saying, oh my God, I hope your brother's all right. So I got one brother. He's joining spaces. He's becoming active in his community with the work that I'm doing. And I get home, go to sleep, feeling great, thankful that my brothers came and participated in the space with me. Get a call around 11 o'clock, somebody yelling on the phone. It's my other brother's girlfriend. She's saying, oh my God, you need to hurry up and get over here. It's SWAT at your house. They got police everywhere. Your mama, I don't know what's going on. I heard a big boom. So I stay 5 blocks from my mom. I was staying with my granny at the time. And it's crazy because prior to this, my granny, so this happened in April. And I had been in this, so my grandmother had passed in March, and I was in this space in April. So I was in the space with myself alone. So I just put on my shoes and I ran all the way to my mom's house. I get to her house, a swarm of cops, SWAT, trucks, you name it, was outside my mama's house. I run up to the steps. They're like, get back, don't move. My mama live here. I'm trying to go see if my mama's okay. Where is my mom? Where is my brothers? Is everybody okay? I'm standing there waiting, praying that everybody is okay. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what is going on in that house. We're waiting outside what seems about 20, almost 30 minutes. The anticipation started building up. I got angry. I started yelling, let my mama out. Let my brothers out. I don't care about what y'all doing. Let them out. I want to see them. I want to make sure that they are right. So me saying this, it started the community to say it as well. Let them out. Let them out. They came out, my mom, 2 of my brothers. One was 12, one was 20. Now, when I saw that, I noticed that the other brother, 21, who they were coming to look for, he didn't come downstairs. So I'm like, oh man, I think they got my brother. As I'm anticipating, wondering if my brother was shot, if my brother was handcuffed, what was going on with my brother? Another 20 minutes passed. I see my brother being dragged down the stairs. A little kid who I changed diaper. This little kid I watched, seeing him dragged down the stairs. Looked like he was not responding. Arms bent back far as they can be. I hear him as he come down. He's coming, they're passing him in front of me. And I yell at them, what the you do to my brother? Brother, you all right? Brother, are you all right? Yelling, making sure that my brother can hear me. My brother yelled, ah, loud. So I know he all right, but he ain't all right. They put my brother inside a car. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, shoot, they got him. They got him. Next thing you know, time go by again. We see an ambulance coming up. What's going on? What is this? What's wrong with my brother? They take my brother out the car and put him on a stretcher. I flipped out because I don't know what the hell is wrong with my brother right now. Is my brother alive? What did y'all do to my brother? I'm looking at my brother. I'm talking to him, yelling at his name. He's not responding. They didn't tell us nothing about what happened to my brother until the next day when he called us. That night we had been running because I'm from Richmond, so this happened in Richmond. We were running to the Richmond Kaiser, trying to figure out, did a boy come in here at this age? This is his name. Have you heard of anything? No one is saying anything. They can't release any information because he's captured. So he called us the next day, I'm good. But what my brother said that they did to him was crazy. He said they had their knees in my back, strangling me. They had guns pointed to my chest. It felt like it was burning. Somebody was strangling me so hard, I passed out. Dog bit me all in my stomach. And my brother said that they said to him excuse my my language. They said to him, this motherfucker's playing possum. As he laid there unconscious, they're saying he's pretending. Continue to kick this boy, 21 years old, just turned 21, February. He had just turned 21. They take him, and I say, what? Crazy to hear a story of a boy being bitten by a dog. Military equipment being placed at the feet and heads of my little brothers. My little brother, 12 years old, said that the police was pointing the guns at him. My other brother, 20, he said they was checking and searching him. But the warrant wasn't his name. It was in the other brother's name. So why are you guys searching and checking him? This terror and fear is built in my 12-year-old brother's body. This terror and fear is built in my 20-year-old brother's body. And this terror is built in my 21-year-old brother's body. A terror that they will never forget. A terror that I would never forget. This passion, this fight is ongoing for me because my brother, my family, my community are being hunted in the streets. Now, my brother ended up serving 5 months after this. And he got out, but what they was facing him with was 9 felony charges. They was trying to wash this boy. They were trying their hardest to keep him in. He was, in their mind, he was a menace to society, and he was never getting out. Working at the Ella Baker Center, I went crazy on getting information. What's going on with this case? How can we help my brother? What do we have? We're like really getting all the information that I can. And what's crazy is that although I'm getting this information, there was still lack of communication happening between my brother's lawyer and even not having conversation with my brother often. Phone bill, the stuff is high. Calling people in jail, that stuff is high, expensive, even if you do got a job. So I couldn't talk to him all the time hearing what was going on. And even when he got out, we had no idea he was getting out. The lack of communication. Y'all took this baby is getting out, coming back to society, and his family don't even know. It's crazy. The system that we have is rooted in evil. The system that we have is rooted in pain. Dehumanizing people of color. My brother, his story, although he's still doing his thing, he's trying to survive, a lot of people are not getting out. A lot of people are still fighting and trying to change their narratives around what people are saying about their experience. The system that we have is not rooted in the rehabilitation of our Black and brown people. This system is taking our loved ones, our Black and brown kids, away from communities, and a lot of them are losing their lives because of it. Juwan Armstrong, who died in Santa Rita jail, scratch that, murdered in Santa Rita jail. His mother has been fighting to get answers for a year now. And still, a year later, no information has been given to this mother about what happened to her son in Santa Rita. 23 years old, only spending weekends, died in custody in Santa Rita. There has been over 40 in custody deaths in Santa Rita. Many post-release deaths, like Jessica St. Louis, who was released after midnight and left to fend for herself. The BART don't run after 12. Why are we releasing people when the BART is not running? There is not a BART to catch. This young lady died. What system is this? How are we holding our Alameda County accountable? How are we holding the sheriff accountable for the atrocities that's happening under his watch? I'm reflecting on what Mama Barbara always said. Mama Barbara is Dewan's mother. I call her Mama Barbara because she became a mother to me. In my connection with her case and learning about her story, I just gravitated to her. I wanted to be there emotionally for her support. Being that I do a lot of work with other mothers who lost their sons, I always gravitating to other mothers and want to provide the support and help. Mama Barbara said, you know what's crazy? My son didn't die on the streets. Because, you know, that's all black mamas fear, dying on the streets. She say, it's crazy that a system that's supposed to protect my baby is a system that killed my baby. That hurts. Those words build in me. Those words hold deep in my passion for the work. Not only do I have many, many loved ones, family, parents who have experienced incarceration, it builds even deeper when there is nothing being stopped. There is nothing happening to stop this. This is why the Ella Baker Center and other coalitions are working to ask for a financial and performance audit of the Alameda County Sheriff's Office. We want to assess the conditions inside Santa Rita. We want to know where the money's going. We want to hold Sheriff Greg Ahern accountable for the murders, for the neglect, and the inhumane treatment of all incarcerated people inside Santa Rita Jail. As Daniel mentioned, this budget is steady increasing. $443 million this sheriff is receiving to care for people in this facility. But people are dying, and there's no answers as to why these people are dying. No one has been held accountable, which is mean we, the people, have to make sure that we hold this system accountable, which is why we have to hold our elected officials accountable, which is why we have to hold the board of supervisors who continue to increase his budget accountable. Right now, this system is a joke because no one is moving. Steady deaths are piling up and no one is caring. Why? What city, what county is this? And how can we, the people, make sure that this changes? With so many traumas and so much pain happening in Black experiences and Black and brown experiences, it's important that we tell the narratives of our stories. It's important that we stand up. It's important that others follow suit and help us tell the narratives of our stories. It's important that we come together and unite of our stories to make sure that somebody is being heard, to make sure that no more deaths are happening under the watch in Santa Rita Jail. I ask you all to get involved, to learn more, to hold your city officials accountable, to hold your board of supervisors accountable, because you know what? This y'all taxpayer dollars as well. On your watch, on our watch, this is happening, and we need to respond. We need to tell truth to power, because they're running this city, they're running this county, but we're the ones who elected them in these seats. We're the ones who voted for them to be where they are. So let's not forget that they are accountable to us. So when I think about loss, and I think about the many lives that have been lost in the system, I'm also reminded that we as a people together can heal and change anything. Us together, fighting strongly, whole, together, can alleviate any trauma and pain that we're experiencing, but only together. Can't do this alone. Can't fight this alone. It's not only a Black and brown issue, it's all our issue. Everyone's issue to take part and help and use your narrative to help someone else's narrative. I'm getting like really emotional. I'm an emotional person because I have so much trauma inside me. And even when I ask myself, why did I get into this work? I realized that it was a calling. It was something that I have to do and will do. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than my city, Richmond, but I hold it proudly. Because a lot of people in my community are not creating spaces and not having opportunity to voice their opinions of what they're experiencing and telling their stories. So every time I'm at an opportunity to speak, every time I'm here, you know, being part of something, I always hold on to, it's bigger than me. This fight is for my ancestors. This fight is for my grandmother, who just recently passed a few months ago. And this fight is for my sugar mama, my other grandmother, who just passed a few days ago. It's like there are many leaders in seats of positions who are constantly losing, but constantly standing up. That's what we have to do. We have to continue to fight, continue to move, and continue to stand. So again, I ask you to join me in this fight. And I want to just take a moment to really have a silent moment for all those who've lost their lives in Santa Rita. With their voice and their power, their essence, their energy is carried on. They may not be able to speak, but we are the voices and we carry it for them. I hold that deeply. For anybody I've ever lost in my life, in my family, in my community, the fight is for them. It's not for me. Thank you, guys.